I've always liked getting to the airport early, before the other partners, before the pilots, before the clients. It's not hustle culture, it's memory. For years, I was the guy pushing luggage carts, not the man who owned the hangar. That day, I was in a glass-walled meeting room on the second floor of our private hangar, the one with executive jets, helicopters, and luxury cars waiting out front, negotiating a contract with a group of foreign investors. Out of the corner of my eye, through the glass, I saw a small commotion on the floor below, near the side gate. A female employee was waving her hands, clearly annoyed. A security guard was blocking the entrance. Two mechanics stood nearby, laughing and pointing. In the middle of it all, a very thin old woman wearing a faded floral dress, a patched cardigan, and holding an old leather suitcase, the kind that looks like it's survived a lifetime of bus stations. I recognized the suitcase before I recognized her face. It was the same suitcase I carried when I left my small hometown to chase a job in the city. The suitcase my grandmother kept just in case you ever need it again. A few seconds later, it hit me. The little old woman being turned away from the entrance of my own hangar was my grandmother, Evelyn. And nobody down there had the slightest idea that the rich boss of that place had been raised on her shoulders. Later I found out how it all started. My grandmother, stubborn as always, had decided she wanted to see me at your rich people job, as she called it. She woke up before sunrise, made a strong pot of coffee, put on the same old dress she always wore, pulled her grey hair into a crooked bun, pinned it with an old clip, and took 2 buses all the way to the airport. At the main lobby, she went straight to the desk. "Good morning, sweetheart. Is this where my grandson's airplane building is?" The receptionist, used to complicated last names and expensive watches, froze for a second. "Ma'am, what's his full name?" "I call him my grandson, of course, but his name is Logan Price," she said proudly. The guy frowned. He wasn't used to hearing "my grandson" from someone wearing worn-out sandals and an ancient shoulder bag. "Look, ma'am, this is a restricted area. You can't just come in like this. Do you have a badge, a pass, an appointment?" "I don't know about any of that," she said. "I just know he works here, and he owns some airplanes." He smirked. "Owns airplanes, right? Sure." He hit a button to call security. "Take this lady to the side gate. See if anyone recognizes her. If not, just send her back to the public area." At the side gate, the security guard was even more impatient. "Ma'am, this isn't a place to wander around. You can't just walk through here. Go back to the public airport area. There are benches and restaurants there." "But I came to see my grandson," she insisted, unfolding a piece of paper with my name and the company name written on it. "Body here is somebody's grandma, ma'am. That doesn't open this gate." Meanwhile, 2 mechanics in greasy uniforms watched from a distance. "Look at that. She's probably lost. Or here to ask for money, happens all the time. Check out that suitcase, man. Looks like a prop from an old movie." Laughter. The suitcase was a joke to them. To me, it was history. My grandmother tried one more time. "He owns this hangar, son. I just came to give him a hug. I won't break anything." "Ma'am, owners of hangars like this don't have grandmas showing up on the bus. Come on, help me out here." That's when the guard put his hand on her arm. Not beating her, but with that annoyed grip people use when they want to move a problem out of the way. And that's the moment I saw from upstairs. From the glass room above, I couldn't hear their exact words, but I could read her eyes. My grandmother's eyes have always been easy to read. When I was a kid, one look told me if things were okay, or if the world had just fallen apart. Right then, looking down, I saw the one look I feared the most: shame. She gently pulled her arm back, clearly not wanting a scene, gripped the handle of the old suitcase tighter, and tried once more to explain, staring at the ground. The mechanics kept watching. One of them had already pulled out his phone, ready to record "the lost old lady in the fancy hangar." On the second floor, one of the foreign investors noticed I'd stopped paying attention to the presentation. "Everything okay, Mr. Price?" he asked. "Just a small situation in the hangar," I replied. "I'll be right back." I walked out without another word. As I went down the internal stairs, the thoughts in my head were louder than any engine in that building. Study, Logan. Go, son. I don't care if I eat dry bread. You're not going to carry boxes your whole life. One day, I want to see you stepping off a big airplane and saying that one is mine. And now she was being pushed away from the door of a hangar with my last name painted on the wall, like she was trash. When I reached the side gate, I heard the tail end of the conversation. "Can I at least leave this dessert I baked for him?" my grandmother asked, her voice shaky. "Ma'am, you can't bring homemade food into a secure area." "That's a problem for me," the guard replied. "I'm sorry, son. I just wanted to—" One of the mechanics with the phone out said loud enough for her to hear, "Let it go, man. If you stop to deal with every old lady who claims she's related to the owner, we'll never get any work done." More laughter. That's when I spoke. "Funny. I don't see anyone laughing now." Silence slammed down. The security guard turned first. "Mr. Price, I was just handling a situation here. This lady—" I walked past him without answering and went straight to my grandmother. Grandma. She lifted her head slowly, like she was afraid she'd gotten it wrong. "Logan." Her eyes filled with tears instantly. "Sweetheart, I just wanted to see where you work, but I don't think I was supposed to come." I hugged her right there, in front of everyone, breathing in the familiar smell of cheap soap and fresh coffee. "You can go anywhere you want," I said, "especially the places I built with your hard work." I let go and turned to the security guard, the mechanics, and anyone else within earshot. "Let me clear something up because it seems like people are confused," I said loudly. "This lady you just humiliated at the door of my hangar is my grandmother." The mechanic with the phone lowered it slowly. The guard tried to justify himself. "Sir, I didn't know. If I had known she was your grandmother—" "And if she wasn't?" I cut in. "If she were just some old woman with worn-out clothes, then it would be okay to push her by the arm and laugh at her." Nobody answered. I pointed up at the massive logo on the hangar wall. "You see that name up there? Price Air Solutions?" "Yes, sir," the guard muttered. "That name only exists because this woman sold cakes on the sidewalk, washed other people's laundry, and patched her own clothes so I wouldn't go to bed hungry." I turned to the mechanics. "You guys who laughed at her, how many bus rides do you think she took so I could get to school? How many times did she skip buying medicine so I could pay for night classes?" One of them stared at the floor, cheeks burning. "From today on, here's the new rule. Any elderly person who steps foot in this hangar is a priority for respect. I don't care if they're a client, a supplier, an employee's relative, or someone just asking where the restroom is." I faced the security guard again. "With all due respect to your job, here you approach people like this. First with respect, then with firmness if needed, never with mockery. If that's hard for you to understand, I will personally find another place for you to work. Understood?" "Yes, sir. I apologize to you, ma'am," he said, finally looking at my grandmother. She answered with more dignity than anyone else in that building. "It's all right, dear. Just don't do that to anyone else again." I took the old suitcase from her hand. "Come on, Grandma, you're going inside. You're going to see every airplane in here, and that one—" I pointed to our largest jet. "That one has your name on the contract. Did you know that?" "You mean it actually says Evelyn on that big thing?" she asked, laughing through her tears. "It's written on the paperwork that paid for it," I said. "And to me, that matters more than paint on the fuselage." After that day, the hangar was never the same. We launched a mandatory training program called Who Got You Here? First exercise, every employee writes down the name of the oldest person who carried their story, mother, father, grandma, grandpa, and imagines that person being turned away at the hangar gate because of their clothes. A lot of people cried. Some just sat in uncomfortable silence. Others asked to apologize to my grandmother in person when she came back, because she did come back, this time with her head high, wearing a custom reflective vest that read, "Grandma Evelyn, VIP for real." The foreign investors heard what happened. and later said something I'll never forget. Anyone who respects where he came from, we trust where he's going. That evening I walked my grandmother up to the stairs of our biggest jet. Go on, Grandma, climb up. Oh, me. Inside something like this. You deserve to sit in every place they once said you didn't belong. She put her foot on the first step slowly, like she was afraid she'd wake up. Then she turned back to me and said, I always knew you'd rise in life. I just never imagined I'd be rising with you in an airplane. If you've ever seen an elderly person humiliated because of the clothes they wear, the way they talk, or the place they dared to walk into, you know how much it hurts to watch it in silence. If you believe that no elderly person deserves humiliation, type in the comments, I will never humiliate an elderly person. So we can show the world there are still people who might be simple on the outside, but huge on the inside. People who honor their roots. And if this story moved you, share it with someone who works in airports, companies, stores, anywhere that deals with people every day. Sometimes the only difference between humiliation and respect is remembering that behind every worn-out outfit, there might be a story that raised a millionaire.